I've been shouting it.
No, okay, you have. And I was explaining that to my sister. I said, ever since when we would have like little topics here and there, even before Kefidi got arrested, I said Daryl has been very loud and boisterous about his rancor, his hate toward Puff Daddy. Yeah. And I'm like, it's so funny. I was like, because you would think that he and 50 Cent were like best friends because the amount of hate that they have toward this nigga doesn't make sense. It's really funny.
I mean, I don't hate on him.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of Keefy D.
Yep.
I mean, he goes into grave detail about that infamous night. And pretty much it is literally what you said, because Pac's people corroborated your theory.
Negro Damas. Now, I do disagree that Puffy directly wanted him to be off, though. I do disagree with that. I think it's the whole thing with the chain. Like I've always said, it's the domino effect of you just be doing some bully stuff. And I think Keefy D was trying to be on some slick stuff. I think that Baby Lane got mad about what he got mad about with the Pac situation. They took him out, and then they tried to collect on the back end. They didn't let them know ahead of time. Like it was like, hey, since we already did it, what about that one conversation we had X amount of time ago? Can we collect? Like that's how in my theory it went. It wasn't. Yeah. It's all comedy of errors, man. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily. Puffy ain't no doggone mastermind criminal like that, But so all right.
Absolutely not. I think it was just a lot of people that were greedy. Everybody was looking for their come up and having a handout, but he was just a selfish ass nigga. Like, I think that's really what it was about when we see what's happening. I mean, even when it comes down to the whole situation with Biggie, Biggie was also very apprehensive, very concerned. I don't want to say the words he was afraid, but he knew, but he knew something was coming that could off him and change his life. And like him saying, "Oh, I canceled his," like the way I would have been like, I don't care how I'm getting out of here. If I have to drive out of here myself, I am getting out of here, because this is very tumultuous. It's like you could feel the energy in the air, post Pac, and it was very thick. And how everybody was saying, why are we going into their turf? They have it out for us. More so in particular, Biggie, because they think he had something to do with it, and he didn't. And knowing that Biggie and Pac were like really, really great friends, which we knew at one point, but then they go into grave detail how Pac really hated Puff and was like, I'm not interested in fucking with you. I don't want to do business with you. My business is over here with Biggie. Like he's that person. I think it's one of those things like kind of similar to how Craig Mack was trying to leave and go to death row. I think it was one of those things where he probably felt that Biggie could be poached. And so in order to prevent this from happening, where I am still in charge and in control of everything, I have to take him out. I have to get rid of him. And what's interesting too is they probably now I don't know who all they try to contact, how people are really willing to speak up about everything, because they talk about the Rolling Stone cover. But I'm like, it would have been nice to hear from Danielle Smith that ultimately went to Vibe.
Yeah, Danielle Smith. Shout out to Danielle Smith. I got a contact on her. I might reach out to her.
Yeah, I'm like, that would have been nice to hear.
Dope writer.
Yeah, dope writer. From her perspective, and what her experience was during that time in particular, because it got crazy for her as well.
Yeah. Shout out to LOL Bird giving us a happy Kwanzaa. Shout out to you. But Overall, I'm not, for me as a person that had been digging through all this stuff and just always trying to stay, it wasn't that much information that was new to me,
Right.
particularly in there. But it was an interesting way to put for the regular person that hasn't been keeping up. It's like we have been. So it was like a nice little bow, and they could have went deeper with it. I know. I mean, I do. They could have, and honestly, 50 could have went harder than me. To be honest,
yeah.
It was, to me, that was light. That was light work. In my opinion, it was light work to me of where the way he kind of went about the documentary. And then let's not say him. It's Alex. Her name is Alex Stapleton. She is the director of it. So let's give her flowers, that she's the one that actually directed that, put this all together from the beginning. So now let's talk about these tapes that he had before he goes to jail. Now we know that he probably would have had these edited and all this stuff, so we wouldn't have seen all the things that we did see. So that's one thing that we have to get out there that people have to understand and think about off the rip. But at the same time, it's not necessarily anything that is totally incriminating about him. It's just that you like, yo, this is a scummy ass nigga. Like, that's just what you get. Like, hit the vibe of it. You just get, he's a scummy ass nigga. It's like, okay, all right. This is everything I thought the way you moved. This is none of this should be a surprise or shock to any of us how you're moving like this. And with the footage, like those documentarians that were doing it were giving great shot. And it was just like, and it goes back to my whole Peter Pan theory with Diddy. This nigga is acting young. He hanging out with his sons and shit all the time, like they young. I mean, like he young. He on the phone FaceTime and a young chick talking about daddy, telling her, daddy finna go get some money. Like, come on, man, you 57 years old though, B. Like 56, almost 60.
But it's interesting, like you said, that people know, people with sense that are not jaded, blinded by the lights and the, gold-plated things. That's why you didn't have a lot of people like us around him. Because people knew, like people were very aware of the situation and how left it could go really quick. I mean, look at the situation with Lil Rod. And, my sister, when we were talking about it, made a very valid point. Like, this man talks about you got a family, like you got, like a wife, you got kids, like a kid or whatever.
Did you know he had 6 kids?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was 6.
Yeah, I did some research.
Think about it. He's pretty much gone like a half a year working on the Love Project, and you said you didn't get paid. So was he throwing you a little something? Like, how were y'all surviving? Was it just your wife, your baby mom? Like, if there are multiple women, I'm not going to put that on him because I don't know. He didn't say. But how are things being handled at home? And you just out here on yachts and at parties and working and all this stuff. Yeah, you're doing all this other stuff like that you didn't sign up for. Like you said, like, I didn't sign up to go to a strip club and then go recruit women to come back. I thought we supposed to be working on this album.
Right. Right. And you and it's like I know musical processes are different, and everyone has a different process of how they go about it.
I'm not interested in that.
Right. But what I'm saying with this is him being too damn old for this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if we looked at a Nas process, a J process. I'm trying to think anyone else, De La, or anyone else that's around his age. I'm sure the studio's not like that.
Yeah.
And they're all the same age. And I know he wants to get that youth energy. I could see that. But at the same time, you 56. Your time is over. In that realm of living, of being the young cool guy at Club Live on Sundays.
At some point, you would think that if somebody called us ages, okay. Because my thing is this.
And learning.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I was gonna say. You would think that at some point you would age out or switch up that process, but like you said, it's a reason why you with your sons all the time. I think it's also interesting, like when they kind of go into detail about, but this also speaks to what you said about they could have went harder on him. You know, people forget about the whole UCLA incident when Justin was playing football and how he had, you know, Puffy knocked out the coach with like a dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because
he threw a kettlebell. He threw a kettlebell at the coach.
Whatever it was, he knocked him out with it.
No, he didn't knock him out. He just threw it at him.
No, that guy got hit.
He did. Oh, I thought he just threw it.
That was the whole thing. Like, okay. You know, like it's one of those things where because you remember he turned around, like sued him and all this stuff.
For sure.
But it's also, I'm like, people forget that. Like, so you're emulating. But I have a real question.
Go ahead. Shoot it.
And this goes back to something like one of my girlfriends and I were talking about how like boys really admire their father, even though that they're like menaces and monsters and whatnot. But what was like, did y'all ever have a conversation with your mother about the abuse, the physical and emotional abuse? Because the abuse between Kim and Puff does come up in this documentary. It's not like it's just about how he was to Cassie. They talk about his sexual assault to, you know, other women, you know, Kim Porter, you know, other, you know, him sexually abusing Aubrey O'Day. And then you learn about what he did to Lil Rod. You learn about what he did to, you know, the OG cat that originally started Bad Boy that he took the stocks from and never gave.
Yeah, Kirk. His name's Kirk.
And that's what I was going to say. Kirk, I'd be interested. I wonder if he could refile that case. Especially now with all the evidence that has come out. Is there some sort of reckoning for him where he ultimately it gets paid out?
That's a good question. I mean, but it was thrown out already. I don't know if you know what. I don't think Double.
They might have to file it. They file.
Yeah, because I know we're gonna talk about in our show later on. For everybody, make sure y'all subscribe, all that. We actually have our regular show that'll be coming out later on this week. I'm gonna talk about the Jason Derulo case where the woman keeps refiling. So I guess you can. I mean, unless the judge says they throw it out with prejudice, I believe. I think they has to be part of it. I think
that's likely what and I wanted to. The Jason Derulo thing is interesting, which, you know, like, and not saying he didn't. I wonder how, like, or what statute, or are they changing like the verbiage of this, and then that has to also be so costly.
Yeah, it seemed like his brother was in a little bit of bad straits. You know what I mean? Like
I know we got a troll in here.
Oh, it's all right. Go ahead. Keep it.
You can remove them. You also have the capacity to remove people. But I think the weird thing about it. I say all that to say I think it's really interesting because I'm like, okay, you've seen this person and people around you guys like have seen this man abuse your mother. And he's been disrespectful to her publicly and privately. And so I just am interested to see, like, especially for the girls, you know, like with that process, like you also have daughters. So what is that doing to their psyche? You know, them sitting in court, having, you know, going over these transcripts of what has transpired, what your father has done to women, you know, him also giving them incurable STIs. You know, and now you're probably wondering, did my mom have this STI or, you know, whatever? It's just interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Go. Finish your thought.
And also someone made a valid point on the internet, said how Puffy, if somebody, he didn't like somebody, it was like his goal was to, I can get your girl. Which is kind of, it's definitely, that's bitch assness to me.
And it's like, funny, didn't he try to come up with that term?
Yeah. You know, we don't have no, but it is when you really think about it, because, you know, the girl Chance's mom, Kim Porter, who else was it? Cassie with Ryan Leslie, Misa with Eric Sermon. And it's like, what is this? Are there not enough women around, especially that are fawning over you and throwing themselves at you, where you can date anybody?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing I'm thinking overall. I've thought about this when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. Man, this is a life lesson for not only us as men of abuse of power, but also for women too, of the idea of like, yo, all that glitter and shine ain't worth it. Because
that's what I said.
Because
gold-plated, glasses.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not saying I'm not, when I'm in this, before somebody jump in the comments, I'm not victim blaming when I'm saying this. I'm saying, like, yo, you just got to watch yourself. Like, all this shit ain't good all the time to be like, oh, well, you know, or the idea for male or female, like, they ain't gonna do that to me.
Mm-hmm. But we talk about that concept all the time on the show, and we talk about, hey, you special when you're in your household, you special to your friends, you special to your family, and we're gonna say for the most part to your family, because we know how crazy family gets. But ultimately, we say all that to say that anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it.
Like, anybody can get it. Like, that's really true. That's what they say, you know, because it's just too much. It's too much. It's too much. And it doesn't make, like, pretty gets you so far. You have to be smart and pretty. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the looks get you in the door. And if you're going to play these types of games, you have to be able to outsmart people and realize, like, at any day this could be over. So how am I going to manipulate this situation? Or is this something that is really even worth my energy and time? Because it really is. It's like, and I'm not trying to be funny. Niggas with money come a dime a dozen. They might not have Diddy money, but like, niggas with money, like real money, come a dime a dozen if you know where to look and how you gonna play this game.
Yeah.
And but like, seriously, that's what I'm like, you know, like, I'll be sure making a joke telling Kim, oh, you better marry him, have some babies by him. He's going to make a lot of money. And that is what happened, you know, except for the married part. And like I told you, how that article all of a sudden disappeared where
her magazine we've been trying to find for like a year.
Find an article because Kim Daddy called him out about that shit. And it's just like, even when you hear him talking this documentary, I always just wanted a girlfriend and just to be able to have multiple girls, multiple women, and all of this stuff. I never wanted to get married and all this stuff. And it's just like, nigga, because it's nothing wrong with being, but you're like a womanizer. You're a womanizer. This, again, starts with your mother. How you and even how he worshipped his dad is just like a little interesting. And then like hearing mixed stories about his dad, where he could have potentially,
yeah, because it was actually a sister that wrote an original article. She actually was trying to find out like about Melvin Combs. She did a full article and everything and try to find out, like, walk around, like, she did a full extensive interview with a lot of different people, and they were saying he wasn't like a super gangster, like he was just a cool dude that just got kind of jammed up, you know.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like, I heard it was more so he was like selling drugs on the side to be fly.
It's probably,
I was like, nigga, go work at Saks. Like, that's what we did. Like, okay, well, I'm finna go work over here because I got a discount. This going, like, you know what I mean? But so I don't know. Like, I think it's just one of those weird, interesting things that, you know, it's just unfortunate, but it's just really sad. And then, like I said, hearing, like they said for the first time, like they played Keefe D's testimony publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just like shit. And then you did that and you still didn't get paid.
That's why I think that he didn't let him know ahead of time. That's why I think that plot, that the part of Keefe D lying with that. That's why, that's my only thing.
And that's what he was trying to say. He said that I made that up under duress or whatever. But also it makes sense. But it was just like, for me, why it makes sense is like, okay, he worked with this other person that's like the kingpin of like the gang, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense that Puffy would wire him that money to a certain extent. And then it makes sense, like, you didn't off both of them niggas, so I'm not giving you the.
And you have, of course, Diddy would do that. Like,
but honestly, it makes sense.
I mean, and if you're talking about like, I contracted in my mind for $1 million for 2, I only got 1, so I'm not giving you all that money. I get
it makes sense, and it makes sense that old dude did not give Keefe D that money because that's just the name of the game. Like, you know. If I was Keefe D, but see, this is what we talk about, like when niggas don't like that, y'all only have so much street smarts and book smarts. Baby, I would have been a New York Times bestseller. And not that I would have, it was certain stuff, especially because old dude died, it would have been certain stuff that he probably could have fabricated. And there was no one to really corroborate and fact check it, where it probably
passed away.
Like, everybody that I'm talking about is dead. Now, they family members can be, I can go move to DR or another country and be good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it goes back to like being smarter, because his testimony sounds believable. You can say, oh, I said this under duress or whatever, but it's just also like, this is what I know. Did I do this shit? No. But this is what, did I have conversations with X, Y, Z? Absolutely. Did he tell me XYZ price? Absolutely. Did I pull the trigger? No. But the whole thing about him being on that is this is why it's believable. Because if I shot somewhere and there's a whole bunch of people around, and like he said, Pac and them was outside. Like, we outside. You know, women are screaming, Pac, that's Tupac, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to get to go to the apartment, and then somebody run up. It's totally believable. Because y'all thought y'all was going to get him at this spot, but you just that's the way about, it's like weird timing. And it's kind of coincidental, but I'm not going to flee the scene per se. I gotta blend.
Shout out to This Is Your Conscience. What'd you think about Kirk? Good question. What'd you think about Kirk? His moments. I mean, he was the star of the documentary, to be honest.
He was really he was. I mean, that's a lot to unpack there, because on one hand, you know, like, he did try to do the right thing and take him to court to attempt to retrieve and reclaim what was his. And then it's like, I wish he would have given us like a timeline a little bit when he sexually assaulted him. What happened? Where were y'all? What was going on? Kind of similar to, you know, like what Lil Rod said, like, did you wake up and you was drugged and y'all was at this party and you woke up sore?
Yeah, so those are the things that are like, I will admit, those are the things, like, even with some Lil Rod things are like, yo, I just woke up and I was sore. Like, those things are like, man, I need some more details here in between the weeds, because this don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some stuff missing here between point A to point B. Particularly with Kirk, when he was saying like, he abused me, you know, all these different ways. Well, why do we wait all the way to the end of the doc to say this?
Yeah, I think it was a good. I get why. I get why, and it also could be how they just edited. He could have said it at the beginning and then they put it at the end because he did stay around for long, so it gives so now we're having this dialogue. Okay, when this happened, when did this happen?
No. You're right though, Matt Jones. Reading between the lines, you're correct. I understand reading between the lines, but it's like if you're gonna say something salacious about that about somebody, you need a little bit to me.
I know. I and you know me, I'm in the same corner as you because it kind of also helps with the timeline a little bit too.
Yeah.
You know, and not the and guys, I know this is called Everyone Needs an Aquarius. Y'all know we are a little more like pragmatic when it comes to certain things and logical, like just because it helps us understand things better. But nobody, I don't even think here's the crazy thing is that I don't even think it is Illuminati mess. I just think that some people are just inherently evil. I said this on the other Surviving Diddy, you know, when we were, you know, following that case. I don't think it has nothing to do with Jesus, the Lord, the devil, anything. Some people are just not good people.
Yeah, and overall for the whole thing with the Surviving Diddy thing, this whole series with this, it's interesting we got here with it, and it's like, and it was smart. 50, hate or love him, whatever it may be. Like I said, leave that man alone. Don't fuck with 50. Just don't fuck with him. Just leave him alone. But he was smart enough to wait till after all the other docs came out. Wait till the story was open, like that we ended the case before he dropped his. You know what I mean? Like
it gave a different perspective because it wasn't necessary how some of the stuff from the other docs, even like that were repetition, it gave different insight. And so you were able to.
It was a bow. It was a nice Cliff Notes bow to it all for the regular person.
Absolutely, person. You know, absolutely.
It was missing some things. Some things weren't there. Some things weren't there. It was just the Cliff Note. Now, I got this question for you, Don. I think he's gonna do a part 2. What do you think? I think
it's deserving of a part 2.
Because do you think he'll go to the Kim Porter thing? To maybe Diddy having something to do with Kim Porter, because I'm sure Albie Shore was saying that on his section of the show of the documentary, but they cut it out.
I
mean, we got 3 surviving R. Kellys. We got 3
none
different.
Of them were none of those the other parts were not as at that time. The other ones kind of felt like, okay, we're gonna throw this at the wall and see this stick.
You talking about the other documentaries?
Yeah, I don't think it. Here's the.
Did you no? But why are you thinking on that?
No.
Did you hear that Diddy supposedly sent
here's the thing.
Did you hear about that?
Here's the thing. You know, like, are you gonna get Kimora Simmons to talk? Now, her other homegirl said that the stuff that people were saying, Kim wasn't writing a book, he's lying. Is that something that where Diddy was paying people, or is this actually true?
Remember that dude tried to come out with that book claiming it was Kim Porter's book with all that crazy shit in there?
But that's what they were saying, that there was like
that was ridiculous though, with that dude trying to run that hustle real quick.
Yeah, but you know, like how they said that it was like electronics missing from Kim's house. Like that whole thing was weird. Somebody made something a valid point. And they were saying that what Diddy was doing was destiny swapping with people.
Okay, so go with that.
So destiny swapping means the spiritual or mystical belief that your life path, blessings, or fortune have been exchanged for someone else's, often due to jealousy, witchcraft, energetic interference, causing you to feel you're feeling that causing you to feel that you're living the wrong life and experiencing unearned struggles. So by him,
shout the boo. Somebody said Diddy was cum swapping with people.
Oh well,
yeah, that's true.
It's perfect timing. But people were saying that he was destiny swapping. So the first person would be Pac. Then from Pac, you have Biggie. And so, and then they even kind of talk about how, like, when he made all of those moments about him.
100%.
Now
I don't know about the Destiny swapping thing. I don't know about that.
But you know what? In a way, when you sit back and think about it, because he wanted to be the star, he wanted to be the end all be all. It kind of it sounds goofy, but it makes sense. You know, and even and if you did anything to get in his way, he didn't give a fuck. He was by any means necessary, and I'm gonna get you out of here.
True indeed.
Which is why, like, if let's say I still think it's weird to this day that Kim Porter is being treated at her house for pneumonia. I still think that's weird. I thought that was weird. They bring up the Chris Lighty situation. I told you, I was like, I remember when this happened and I looked at a picture of him and I was like, huh, that's really weird and interesting. So Chris Lighty comes up. Shakir Stewart is still one of the people I think about. I was like, that's also really interesting, where I don't think that these people killed themselves. So that's why it was when Chris Lighty came up, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been saying this, like this, it's been weird. It's like the whole time.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean,
and then if Kim was like at the point where she was really, really done and knew she can make money and tell all, just like I still think it was weird how when you watch that one documentary about Misa and the, you know, becoming a stylist and doing all this stuff about
that was on Netflix too.
That was on Netflix too. And I was like, how is Puffy your baby daddy? And even if like you have this kid by him who's always with him and I'm down bad, how are you gonna let me get evicted? I thought that was strange. But just like how he wouldn't, if we're gonna talk about Kalina, I thought out the gate, I was like, how when she spoke out against Dawn, I was like, this is really.
We said it was weird.
Said it was weird. I said that sounds really goofy, and I get it. Like your husband works for him, so he's not trying to mess up his bag. But also,
her husband. No, that's the thing. This documentary.
But that's what I'm saying.
But she's not married to that guy anymore.
No,
the guy that worked for Diddy, she's not married to him no more.
No, she is still married because she says to him,
she's married to a new person. The guy that was working for Diddy is the other dude that was on Love and Hip Hop with her.
Okay, I thought it was the same dude.
I thought so too. I went to go look it up.
But here's the thing: at the end of the day, the day got to end, right? Yeah. And you know what you could also do? Not say nothing.
True indeed.
Because you had previously asked him for money. He told you, I don't have it, whatever, which we talk about. Does Diddy have money? How we think Diddy has money. It's one thing for things to be an asset, so it's another thing for things to be liquid.
Most cats, like let's keep it real. Most,
and no, seriously, you are correct. But then you want me to make a statement for you when I just need $5,000, I will pay it back. And you can't give me $5,000.
It was just a little bit of money. It wasn't even nothing serious.
I just need to get a good lawyer. That is it. And you couldn't do that. And you want me to make a statement. And then you was expected, girl, goofy. You play stupid games. You get silly prizes. We talk about that all the time. I would have been like, hey fam, like I really need this lawyer.
Like I need you to hook. Hey, I was like, man,
like we both down bad. And she knew she shouldn't have done that goofy ass shit.
But see, with the Kalina thing, do you? It seems, and with a lot of people, even it seems like it seemed like people still have an affinity towards him. Like even she was like, I know it's messed up, you know, I still love you, you know, I still love you. Like, I mean, that was just weird to me.
It's the manipulation thing, and it is still like it's manipulation. It is and it's a way to control things. Like he's so used to being in control that he, again, by any means necessary, I have to take control of this. You didn't have to call Kalina.
No.
But also, like I said, when we talk about this case, you know, there were goofy people that were defending him, you know, until that video came out. But I think it's also very telling that nobody outside of Stevie J and like Kalina even voiced support.
Groovy Lou, the brother with the dreads, Groovy Lou, has been supporting him.
Who?
Groovy Lou. He's the dude that was with the dreads in the doc. His name's Groovy Lou. He's a cat, New York cat that's been
whatever. But I'm saying all these celebrity people, you know, you have people scrubbing their Instagram of him.
And to mention that, let's talk about
Naomi Campbell. All them people had taken, men and women, took Puffy off of their
Instagram.
And they would try to talk other people to him.
Real quick, before we talk about Instagram, Capricorn Carter. Because she talked about how, like, you talking about Instagram. Remember, she said in the doc as well that she kept up all these different things over time because she just believed in the culture and she didn't want to, because of what the situation was. She just was like, I just want to give it up. And then she said she will call him the devil after, well, I guess Cassie came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatnot. What did you think about her parts in the doc?
I think them calling her. But I said that when we spoke about it, because, you know, she ultimately got subpoenaed.
Mm-hmm. She didn't want to.
She didn't want to. I think her testimony when she got cross-examined by the defense hurt the case.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because she ultimately, when she got fired, but then she was begging for her job back. And I get it. It's your bread and butter. I don't know what she was getting paid, but it was like, she was afraid to be blackballed, blacklisted, or whatever. You know, sometimes a setback is a setup for a comeback. And people, and we've all been there where it's like, we don't know what we're going to do because this company or whatever let us go, laid us off or whatever. But I think it's one of those weird things where it's just like how it's interesting how much control Puffy still had even when he wasn't around and he was doing what he wanted to do. And, you know, when they talk about the incident with the hiking and going hiking with Kid Cudi, and then, you know, Capricorn saying, I don't know if Puffy is going to like that. I don't think we should do this or whatever. She's like, it's just my friend, blah, 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 blah. And then next thing you know, somehow it gets back to Puffy. And he comes banging on her door talking about, we're going to burn his house up. We're going to kill him. And you're like, what? Like
you wilding, son.
Yeah. And
but I think
for me, like, I would have been like, hey, man, it's been trill, but I got a biz ounce, like Olivia says, because I can't put my freedom.
Look at that reference to the old school Olivia joint. Look at you.
I did. I said I got a biz ounce like Olivia, because I can't put my life and my freedom on the line for you. Like, we know how you roll. And
but he pulled a gun on her. She claimed he pulled a gun on her though.
And that's cool. You could pull a gun on me, but again, my life and my freedom is too important to be all caught up in your rigmarole.
But also I think about it. I'm like, man, she may not have had any other, I don't want to say any other skills, but that was like her job for 10, 12 years. Maybe she just thought he was going to blackball her, whatever, but she should have had more confidence in herself.
So yeah.
Or whatnot. So, let's keep that in mind, though, that as well. She needed to have more confidence in herself to be able to do other stuff. To use the brand manager for Diddy, you could have, expanded that out, but maybe she thought he was on blackball her,
But that was part of that, but it was also a way for him to manipulate what she knew, like talk about like her upbringing and all. That was a way for him to control her. But like you said, it does go back, that falls back on her to a certain extent, because it's like, you know what, I've overcome my mom being an addict, all these crazy things happen to me, and you just one nigga. Like, maybe I'm not gonna go work in whatever industry. I could spend this and work in tech, or go work at Netflix or whatever, and that's it. You know what I mean? Because like we all, but it goes back to what Kirk said. That nigga don't give a damn about nobody except himself. He only cares about himself. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you see people that are like that are just like very self-serving, you kind of have to move yourself out the way, because they will do anything and anything to you just to keep their rep, like their name, to stay on top, because it's scary. Like you see what
Gangstar, just to keep your rep.
They talk about what happened with Shine. Like, I don't know what he did, what he promised him.
Well, I mean, Shine already came out. He said he has nothing to do with the doc. He said he didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Right.
He spoke his piece, and it is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's like, okay, this person, he had no problem with this person taking the fall for him, when there's a witness that verbatim said he had a gun. He shot me in the face. Like, he shot that gun and I got hit. I saw it.
Yeah, Johnny Cochran, though.
It doesn't matter. But what I'm telling you is this. And so ultimately, I think that's one of those wild things that is just like, you harassing people. And we was talking about that. I said, he could not let go of Cassie and the fact that she was able to get away. She wanted to be happy. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have a family. You could not provide that to her. So she left, when she was finally able to leave and get what she knew that she was deserving of and what she wanted and what she desired out of this life. And you just still couldn't let it go. Like I said, you commenting on her stuff. So that means on top of you publicly doing this, I could imagine what you're doing privately.
This is my type of carry on right here. Digger bring it up right when he is released from jail, like his own doc.
I mean, he's that self-centered, and self-serving and so narcissistic. He probably will.
What's so funny is, shout out to Teddy. Teddy said to me, he's like, because I was like, man, because at first when we was talking about all the footage and things like that Diddy was using for the doc, I was like, man, he was one to maybe show his, innocence, or, Teddy flipped it on me. He said, what if he used it, and like when he get off, he could use it. Like, I told y'all I ain't do it. Look at this doc of my journey of me not guilty.
But like I told you, what that escort told me that we interviewed for my podcast that's coming out, that we're likely gonna have to cut it out because it's not the term allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
When they raided his house and you calling that escort service to have a party and set it up. I wouldn't be surprised if he did do that. I think you've asked me before what happens when he gets out with time served and all that stuff, because depending on what's happened, I don't know. I don't foresee them making him serve the whole 4 years. You and I have spoken about this. And it is kind of like, it's interesting. It will be interesting. People outside that court dousing themselves in baby oil.
Since we're talking about the court, let's go into what the spin, the PR spin part of the doc, where they were saying basically, and we'll talk about the jurors too real quick. What did you think about that? Of like how, and he says it in the doc, he's like, we need a better PR team. We need somebody that's gonna be able to go in there and make them flip on this. I'm like,
and part of that crisis PR is they're partly partnering with the defense to spin this story, which is why I told you, I said, hey, if this was based on what I'm seeing in California the RICO charge, he likely would have got convicted out here versus it kind of being
somebody. Hold on, somebody says this. They said he's not going to getting out. He gonna walk to the gate and get rearrested, huh? Hey, for Miss Little, what do you think you're gonna get? Jump in the chat, Miss Little. What do you think he's gonna get rearrested for? Like, what would it be?
She said,
yeah, it's one of the things when people do get out of jail, like they think they're getting out, and it's another Fed truck there for to take them.
Yeah, that and it could be that. I think, I mean, especially with the young lady who came out and said she was sexually assaulted. That, I mean, and I don't know, Aubrey's situation where she.
Man, that's two different things. All right, so go to the courtroom stuff, or do you want to do Aubrey real quick and we go back to the courtroom? Which one?
No, I was piggybacking kind of off of what Miss Little said.
Yeah,
Aubrey hasn't said I'm gonna press charges for him drugging me and him and his friend raping me,
because she doesn't remember though.
She doesn't remember, but like that person that was like, I know what I saw, I'm confident, and yeah. But okay, I think it's also
Miss Little. Hold on, she says here. She says, "Did you not hear the LAPD guy saying that's only Keefe D and Diddy are the only people that still stand that could be held accountable for Pac?" See, that's the thing, though, Miss Little. I don't think nobody's gonna ever be accountable necessarily. Maybe Keefe D, because he's already locked up in Las Vegas. And I don't think they're gonna have enough to get.
I feel like if he had a good lawyer,
or Keefe D gonna have to straight roll over on Diddy, like,
yeah,
which
I mean, hey, that nigga didn't pay him.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting though. If that
he didn't get the money, he was like,
yeah, because there's a lot of street shit involved with that too.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. But yeah. I'm like, y'all love the ghetto too much for me. Like, y'all love it a little too much for me. So y'all can have all of that. I don't want that.
You from the ghetto like me too. Stop it,
nigga. And where am I now?
That's true.
Like, I don't live in the ghetto out here.
Right.
They be trying to make my apartment complex here, though, but I'm about to go file a complaint with the state. So they can keep playing if they want to. I handle things legally, and I'm like, I'm not gonna keep doing this. So all right. But no, okay. So yeah. that's why I was piggybacking off of with what Miss Little said. But the jurors, like, they were both. You remember the dude that was living in Jersey? They found out he lived in Jersey. It's given that. And y'all were both enamored. You're gonna tell me the young lady said, "Well, I really didn't follow him, but I watched Making the Band with Day 26." And she also said she watched the first one. So what are we talking about? And then for the man, but see, then you got a super fan, and then you got misogyny that's like resting in this right now, because it's like, well, it was all this back and forth, nigga. That is survival 101. Victims stay they go back and forth for survival, not because of what they could do. Like, it's already was discussed and released how he threatened her family. I'm gonna kill your family. I'm gonna kill your friends. My friends being one of them.
Yeah.
Listen, and for real, if you was like, oh, I'm not sure. The moment it came out that nigga said, I'm going to release these photos of you if you don't give me $50,000, and my mother had to borrow against the house. If you didn't have any empathy for that, you are a bitch. Sorry. And and y'all know how I hate to call men bitches, but when the shoe fits,
yeah,
that's just what it is. Because but then I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, so what was your upbringing? What was your mother's and your father's relationship like? Maybe it was tumultuous and you have some sort of resentment towards your own mama. Because for me, like, you can say all of this other stuff, but the fact that you're like, because you won't get back with me, I'm going to blackmail you and I'm going to extort you. As anybody with sense should be like, that was fucked up. And then that put her mama in a, like, and yes, he gave it back, but we already discussed this. If you've been following us, you got 2 or 3 days to get that money back to the bank.
You do.
You got 2 or 3 days
before they say no, it's yours.
It's yours. So now we got
pay on the 15th. Pay on the 15th.
and you probably could pay it back in full, but they still gonna say, well, you got this much interest, you still got to pay this.
And sometimes you can take a penalty for paying it back too early too.
Yep.
Because they'll be like, why are you flipping it like that? What you doing? What you flipping money like that for? Like, what you doing?
Which sparked a whole nother thing.
So I do want to say though that rumor about the juror being the one with the Diddy, that's not her. That's actually
it's a different girl. She came out. Yeah. And I think that was the most interesting part, like being able to hear like all these different people's testimonies and stories, and like, but the jurors, I was like, y'all, like, knowing that things probably really could have been worse if it wasn't. It could have been worse for him, which I don't give a fuck. But you got fans that you get, people that are just enamored by you. And we knew that, but we said out the gate, all of them niggas should have been sequestered, because we think about influence that have happened. He probably paid some people. They probably got them. Like, now we see them. Where y'all not being escorted. We just letting y'all leave after court. Sorry. Everybody is up for grabs. Anybody can be bought. Yeah, and I might have still let them niggas buy me, and I still would have been in there and voted differently.
Yeah, this is weird though to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a real concept with that they didn't sequester those jurors, but also like it felt like she was like a fan. Like,
yeah, she was. And I think that is one of those things where, you see that commentary where it's like, okay, this might need to be retried because, and just.
But you can't retry it though. It's double jeopardy.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's definitely.
And that's the feds fucked up with all this though too. Let's keep that in mind.
Did.
They fucked up with all the way charged and everything.
It worked out in the defense's favor. Ultimately, they got him on like the attempt to, prostitution and the trafficking thing. But I just think that, like I said, I told you, I said they focused on the Cassie portion. That should have been a day or two.
Because how many days was Cassie's? Like 3?
It was a minute. I feel like it was like for like a week or two. And I'm like, why are we still focusing on this when you got XYZ that needs attention?
And I also think they should have brought Cassie last. I know she was pregnant and that maybe that was part of it. They should have had her go last.
Yeah. Or
that should be the last moment what you see.
But here's the thing too. Or to be honest, they didn't need Cassie's testimony. They didn't need it.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Little. Hold on, let's pull up Miss Little. She says, listen, 24/7 Diddy was recording. 50 got calls to his legal team and chats with his people. I'm pretty sure he spilled some confessions. We got 10 minutes of footage. I'll put money on it. Okay. Then she also says, I'm from London. I know many industry people that party with him over here. I've met him a couple of times. I pray he never comes out. Shout out to my Londoners, man. I'm over in London a lot, once a year at least, to see and go up to Manchester to see my United play. So shout out to Miss Little.
I'll say that was such a mix of I don't know, Jamaican.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm hanging with my yard.
Like Jamaican means London means.
That's what I'm saying. That's who I hang out. Shout out to my man Cameron.
I get it, but it was just funny. I was like, I don't know this accent, but
go ahead.
I mean, Diddy's getting out, and that's just because here's the thing. We know American law. Yeah. What we know is it's full of shit. Like we have a criminal, a crook in the White House. And sidebar, I just can't rock with Marjorie Taylor Greene or Green Taylor, whatever the hell her name is, trying to be a martyr.
I know.
I can't get with it. So ultimately, I say all that to say, I think it's just like I said, we learned a lot. We learned enough. On top of what we already knew, it confirmed some things. But I think the part that people was taken aback by was how Diddy made Biggie alter the estate pay for his funeral.
That's wild, though.
It
seems, even if it's not true, it seems like some shit Diddy would do.
Yeah.
hiding some shit in the money in the paperwork. Because I know that another person that's over the Voletta Wallace estate came out and said that wasn't true. But Diddy's a tricky cat. I can see him putting it in the paperwork somewhere.
Yeah. So that's what they tried to say. He didn't have to repay it. It was just part of the billable. It was part of.
And he gonna write it off. He wrote off.
Yeah. That's how it came up. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what, low key, it's probably a lot of people that be writing off people's funerals. We just know about Diddy's. To be honest, he ain't the only one that's done that. Let's keep it real. Let's be honest.
No, for sure.
So, what did you think about the with Aubrey? We talked about Aubrey is one of the people that was out there on the mean streets early. She was one of the first people. You had been talking about Aubrey before the Keefe D thing. All that you was like, Aubrey got something to say. We don't know what she gonna say.
Yeah,
and she's the first one saying that Indiana
Danny DeCane.
No, the NDA that was like to get their masters back.
Oh yeah, she came out and said it was BS.
Yeah,
because all they was gonna get was like $500 plus their masters, and like I listen to Danny DeCane. I might listen to that album a couple of times a year, so it lets me know like, okay, how often are people really streaming? That's what Spotify, like, they'll say the monthly listeners, but I'm like, how often does someone like pay? Okay, something happened. Oh, okay. I opened it wrong. It was for creative Spotify. I was like, I said, did I get logged out of my Spotify? It was Spotify for creators. So like Danny DeCane has 755,000 monthly listeners.
Really? Okay.
So, that's not a lot of money for your royalties, because we know Spotify plays like the league.
Paying like shit, and you ain't getting them physical. Unless, I mean, maybe you can get it back, and maybe it could be in a movie or something like that. But you got to be able to do that on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and I know that they're doing a tour, but I don't think Dawn is a part of the tour.
So it's just D Woods.
It's just the other 4 girls.
Okay.
Which I'm shocked, because like,
so what'd you think about what Kalina was saying about her and Diddy's Don's situation? That was weird.
Yeah, that was also,
and to me, I don't think that was even needed to a certain extent. Like,
I feel like,
because to me that wasn't concrete evidence. That was what you kind of was feeling. Like, if you hadn't seen nothing, and like you need to, you know what I'm saying? It's like your subjective mind state.
To me, it just made her kind of look worse. Like, we already had our thoughts and feelings about Kalina, and then for you to say this, like, okay, I fucked up, I made the mistake, but Dawn was really trying to get with him. So it was like tit for tat a little bit.
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and I like, I see how you got there. I see how you said that.
Yeah, that was just weird to me. I'm like, what? We didn't need that.
It didn't make sense at all. Like, if I'm being quite honest, it's just like, girl, you say all that to say what? Like, what are we doing?
The Aubrey O'Day thing I kind of did, like, I get why they included that, but that was hard to watch.
That was
extremely, I get it, but it's like one of them things of like, man, listen, like, it ain't gotta be like this, yo. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have to hear those details of, like, because I'm thinking about, if this, you don't understand how much rage and killing I would do if I found out my daughter would, child, man, listen.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, like, it's just really.
Why ain't nobody did a drive-by on this nigga? That's my thing.
Look, that was so St. Louis.
He'd be at Club Live on Sundays. I could go right there.
But that's that. I mean, I get it. I
know he got bodyguards and stuff. He got to, like, I mean, but still,
all of them can get it at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's just really weird. I think it's all weird as a whole, but it just seems like, he knew which people to do that to.
Yeah, I mean,
he knew who he could get over on, because it's kind of even how they said, you know, Kim would push back and she would cuss him back out. She would fight him back.
And then same thing would happen with Cassie, correct?
Yeah. But Cassie wasn't fighting him back. You know, he got sick of that with, you know, with Kim, and Kim ultimately just bowed out, and, you know, allegedly. But it's just
tired of it. She just got tired of it. I mean, but this a thing of where, you know, it's like your own personal worth and your feeling as a woman or a man in these situations as well, of like, because everyone thought that this was it. Like, I can't get nothing better than this. Like even Little Rod, where he was like, I gotta put up all this before I can get placement, before I can be in these rooms. And at some point, like, straight up on the real, you gotta be like, fuck it, it ain't worth it, man. And I can, if I'm that dope, I gotta find another way instead of losing my soul and my spirit and who I am as a man.
Absolutely, you were correct. You were correct.
Like, it can't be like, it ain't worth that. It ain't worth that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, when we talk, like how you spoke about Capricorn, it goes back to knowing you could do better, and
all of them need to take responsibility for some of this shit too.
Oh, absolutely. Because like when you don't say nothing, you're an enabler. Like you turn the other cheek, you're an enabler. But like I said, everybody, it was kind of one of those things where you, like one day you could, like, because I would have just been like, hey man, like, even if you didn't tell him the truth, like I don't necessarily care about how you moving. So you buy all the stuff like for your safety, just like, hey man, like me and my dude, you know, I know I didn't tell you, but you know, I gotta leave because we've been trying to have this family, and you know, I'm pregnant. I already was like, I would have been so made up some bullshit just so you could. But if I just said I want to leave, she gonna put up a fight. But you got to make some bullshit up. Like it got to be a scheme that was set up by Todd to come to you with the bullshit. Like you have to, just to protect yourself. And you know, for the person that's like, oh, those women did it to themselves. But it's like, but yes and no. It's like we talk about people feeling like they're special and they are the exception to the rule. And when it happens to you, if you're not strong-minded and strong-willed enough, you get sucked in. Cassie was fucking 19 years old. You already had her in this predatory 10 deal record, like 10 album deal.
Diabolical. But that's the record business, though. I mean, to a certain extent.
It is, but it's not like, it's like I said, you getting caught up by, oh, I'm going to be this superstar. Ryan Leslie already produced these dope hits. I've been running numbers up on MySpace. I'm in front of Diddy. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this big star. And you put out one album.
And that was all Ryan Leslie basically bought.
And that was all Ryan Leslie.
Yeah, like he did all that stuff.
And if Puffy, but like I said, you get caught up in the lights, and the moment he tried to push up on you, you know, you could have been like, you know, we cool, like you got a chick or whatever, and you could say these things, your mind could be saying, but then you just like, oh, I want this deal, I want this, because who knows what, you know, how, you know, even worse it could have been had she been like, get the fuck up off of me.
All right. Before we leave, do you think there will be a part 2, a Diddy Dead Reckoning part 2?
Look at this dog laid out though.
Pax.
He just stretched out. Like, I don't think it's necessary, honestly.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily necessary. Because like for real, I got a question for Albie. Sure, you talking all this shit, but why didn't you take Kim to court? Like was your money funny? Like, or like where you felt like you couldn't fight because she had Diddy? And that's like my question. Like, you saying all of this stuff about him, and it could very well be true. That's your truth. But I'm also kind of like, man, like you seem really pressed to have this relationship with Quincy. I would have took her to court.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe he was just going through his own stuff that he couldn't necessarily be.
And that's true too.
That he couldn't be there as he want to. I don't think there needs to be a part 2. I can see 50 doing a part 2 potentially. Now, someone earlier said, well, did he come up with his own doc when he comes out of jail? Maybe. But I also see 50 actually dropping a doc the day he's released.
I mean, but here's the thing. 50 also is not innocent. We already talked about his domestic violence, you got issues with your kids, disowning your son and how you were or lack thereof present physically and financially for your oldest child. Daphne Joy, you was beating on her, so you're not innocent either.
Yeah.
I'm like, all this can't stand from a man ask you to go shop. What's the tea?
I mean, some people think it's the baby mama stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff. Hey, we don't know. Just leave 50 alone, y'all. Leave him alone. Don't do it. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Man, thank y'all for checking out our live on Surviving Diddy. We may be coming back. We're gonna do some other lives soon though, because it's 159 of y'all up in here, which is dope. Like actually 213 now. So we'll figure out some more different stuff. Thank y'all, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, check out Dom as well as St. Angeles over on her channel as well. And everyone he's in Aquarius. We're gonna be him on a regular show this week. We appreciate y'all. Peace.